Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel. It's another beautiful day here in Los Angeles. We're down in Orange County today to catch up with DDE, Damon and Dave, because here at PFS, Protective Film Solutions, where I've been to visit a few times before, we have the new look to Damon's Porsche Carrera GT, and safe to say it's pretty special. We're gonna have a look around this in just a second, then we're gonna be heading over to the DDE HQ to check out their garage and the cool stuff they're getting up to with it over there. But have a look at this. The signal green Carrera GT, green over tan. Let's have a catch up with Damon. We're gonna hop on board to go for a run out. Believe me, this is gonna sound awesome, and I can't wait to see DDE's garage to see how that's coming along as well. Let's do it, let's go have a look. Hey Damon.
How are you?
All good?
Good to see you.
You too, back from Gumball.
I'm excited to be on your channel.
Yeah, good times. Well, I mean, we had lots of fun chasing you and being deafened by one of your cars.
Yes.
Which we might be catching up with later on.
We will be. It just got delivered back from Miami 2 hours ago.
That's awesome. But this, we're going to talk about this.
The cool thing about this was originally the Gumball car. I went as far as even like, look at the dedication.
You got the keyring ready and everything. So you were going to take the CGT on Gumball?
I was going to take the CGT on Gumball. The only reason I chose not to is because of this. So if you don't remember, this car was seal gray, which was produced 64 units with the silver wheels, and I decided to change it. I wanted it to be crazy. I wanted to be more what our brand is. I always wanted signal green. So instead of painting it, I kind of bitched out and went wrap.
But why not? It looks fantastic. So you've done the full vinyl wrap and every possible bit of detail. We were just having a look.
Everything.
If we pop open the doors.
So the entire car is color changed. The inside of these humps, if you will, are all color changed, even onto the interior, as well as going as far as doing a few little details so everything was tied in. I didn't want silver accents, so we resprayed the grille gloss black.
Because this mesh is normally silver.
Usually silver. This is usually silver. And if you look through here, we have a custom Inconel exhaust on this car. That's another car they're pulling in that's loud.
There was a GT3 of some description there, I think.
Really? Another Porsche. So this is made by a company in Canada, out of Alberta, called Unobtainium. And he makes custom exhausts. And Chris, I talked to him and said, hey, I want to put something special on this car, something even better than titanium. What's better? And he said Inconel. So that is a Inconel exhaust, gloss black Carrera GT badges. These are actually even silver, so we had these done in gloss black. It's all about the little details, so it all ties in. Even as far as this, I discovered all this when Protective Film Solutions, which is the shop we're standing in right now, I would say arguably the best wrap shop in North America. They took this car apart properly and found all these little silver accents, and we decided to do them all gloss black. AL13 had to up the ante and make a new wheel for the Carrera GT. So in my opinion, this car is hard to put anything but a 5-spoke on. It only kind of, in my opinion, looks good with very motorsport style wheels. So I went with like a monoblock motorsport style, I believe that's 10-spoke if I count correctly.
For the 5 twins.
Correct, or the 5 twins. And yeah, that's done in a satin black, and then we did a satin black windshield banner to match. And that's the only branding on this car for our company. We're pretty well known for wild wraps, camos.
You've done some crazy stuff over the years.
Liveries, big DDE on the door. I wanted this car to be left a little bit more eloquent. It's a beautiful car.
And you've got green over tan, if I may pop open the door.
Technically terracotta.
Terracotta interior, door shuts, everything. This looks really clean.
Like, look at this. Imagine having to wrap this shape of a mirror.
It's not easy. It's not easy to do that stuff. Well, we've got the roof panels on because I'm British and it's too hot.
I'm Canadian and it's too hot.
There we go.
And you wore trousers.
You got it, you got it.
Yes.
Not pants for this one.
Not pants. But you're gonna learn. You'll learn sooner or later here in Southern California.
Yeah.
So what else do you want to showcase on the exterior of the car before we start this is, okay, I'll be really honest on your channel. My channel, I like to, push the boundaries of what we call certain things. I would call this straight piped on my channel, but the truth is it's not straight piped. And I'll let you guys in on a little secret. The secondary or primary cats are actually a part of the header. I don't want to drill out something I would literally have to buy an entire new header from Porsche with cats installed to make it officially straight piped. And you'll find out that even with one set of cats on either side still in there, it's quite loud.
It's plenty loud, and but it's about the engine tone. 5.7 V10 in here.
Yes.
It's one of the best sounding engines ever.
I
The
think so.
factory car is super quiet.
It's pretty quiet until you wind it out. It has a nice high pitched frequency, but it's not loud enough.
Yeah.
And there's an AWE exhaust that's very famously used on most Carrera GTs when they do an aftermarket exhaust. And it has a more of a buzzy tone. And so we put some resonators in here that you can kind of see to the naked eye, but not to the camera, that those are actually titanium resonators, and it helps get rid of a little bit of that buzzy tone and maintain a little bit more of the high pitch frequency. And since this is a one-off exhaust, I can truly say this is a one-of-one sound. There'll be no other Carrera GT that will sound identically to this in the world.
That's quite cool.
Because no one's ever had this setup before.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Complete one of one.
And as far as I know, this is the only wrapped signal green car in the world. I don't think anyone's ever had a signal green Carrera GT.
I've seen darker greens,
yes,
but not a lighter green.
Correct. And I can say signal green. It's not a fancy Lamborghini Verde, Ithaca, blah, 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 yeah.
Signal green, nice and easy. Shall we take a listen to it then?
You ready?
You gonna do the honors, get it started up?
Let's do it.
I'll stand out here.
This is official Southern California cold start, so it's pretty warm here, but it should be a cold start.
We'll see in just a moment whether it runs the cold start sequence off it. So, ready when you are. That sounds amazing. That sounds absolutely awesome. That is a good sound.
We will, let's get a little bit of heat into the motor oil and into the temps, and then I will give you the full, I believe this is like most Porsches. If you don't move this car, it'll only let you rev it standing still up to 6,000 RPM. A Carrera GT. Yes.
This must have been one of the earliest cars that had a rev limiter like that.
Yes. I'll double check when I do it, but I'm pretty sure to my memory, it won't go redline unless you're moving.
You definitely need to get it warm before we get anything crazy going on.
How do you pronounce, because this engine was intended for 24-hour of
Le Mans.
So you say Le Mans.
Silent S.
So I'm saying it right.
Le Mans.
It's not Le Mans.
No, it's Le Mans.
Because I hear Americans say Le Mans, and I'm like, am I wrong?
Everyone's wrong. It's Le Mans.
Le Mans. I say it right.
Absolutely.
I don't pronounce much right.
You got it. You got it. Out emerges that color, obviously matched to signal green, which would be a PTS color from Porsche. This thing looks so cool. Carrera GT, as I just said, is one of my favorite cars in the world. F50s, CGTs, LFAs, dream list. Obviously Damon has this car, which was low spec, nice example, and goes the GT3 as it happens. GT3 Touring. The irony here is this is the first time you've seen it outside.
I've not seen it outside.
And
I held off.
Basically in the shadow. But you
I gotta go to the other side.
That's nice, right?
It's great.
I know the feeling when you're looking at all the different samples and trying to choose exactly what to go for.
I've had a serious obsession with signal green for as long as even before I ever owned my first supercar. I saw an issue of, I believe it was, I'm not going to name the magazine because if I get it wrong then I'm awful, but there was an issue of a magazine that had 3 signal green Porsche GT3 RSs, but like the 997 style.
Yep.
And one of them was a gentleman I knew who was one of the owners of Gold Rush, Fred, who I met later on.
Yep.
And I ever since that cover, I was obsessed with this green. And so I started looking for specifically signal green Porsches, and I love them. I've seen Viper green, which is also really cool.
Yeah.
But it's the specific signal green color. Now, this isn't signal green because it's not the paint, but this is as close to that color as in a vinyl wrap.
Yeah, yeah. It's always impossible to be perfect, but you can be so close that...
Close enough that if I regret this decision, it's not a paint job.
Yeah, you haven't spent 6 figures on respraying it.
It's not even the money, it's the commitment. The commitment to painting a car is tenfold.
Yeah, I've done it a couple of times. You don't need to tell me.
I've watched you do it.
All right, let's head on over to your garage.
Let's go to my, yeah, you haven't.
DDE HQ.
We got to show you guys. We just did a renovation. I really wish you saw it before in person because it's a huge difference.
Well, let's get on the road and get over there and we'll go check it out.
And let's make this V10 make some beautiful noises.
Oh yeah. Talking clutch.
Talking clutch. The Carrera GT has a $30,000 clutch.
That's terrifying.
And it's not necessarily, it's about $15,000 for the clutch, and it's about $15,000+. You know, you can add taxes on. People can elaborate and say it's more, 50,000, but it's the process of putting the clutch in. They split the car in half. So just behind my head here, all of this gets split in half. The entire engine gets taken out and the car gets put in two just to put a clutch in this car. And it's only about this big.
You need to look after.
So it's not a car like most manuals where you can let the clutch out and hit the throttle at the same time. It actually says you have to not touch the throttle and just let the clutch catch. And as the car starts rolling, let the clutch all the way out and then hit the throttle. If you do it any other way, you'll likely stall the clutch, or stall the car, sorry, or destroy the clutch. And you better be very rich, which I am not.
They go very fast.
They go very fast.
And you've got a carbon lip at the front as well.
I have a carbon lip, I have no lift. This is all about the technique and the angle.
You learn it fast when you're here in California with all of these
dips.
Gutters and dips. And
they do that to drain the water here.
Yeah.
It doesn't rain often, so when it does rain, it can tend to flood.
Oh, this sounds amazing.
Do you want windows down?
Oh yeah, why not? 2,500 RPM.
Oh.
Okay, there we go. 7,000 or 8,000 RPM.
That's right.
Do you feel at home in here?
I absolutely love this car. My absolute favorite car was my manual LP640 Murcielago. It unfortunately was totaled recently by a technician who took it on a test drive after 3 months of installing all new gears into that car. And just the lack of experience in one of those cars. And to be honest, a lot of debris because it was still the tail end of our winter season.
Yeah.
Lots of sand on the road. He lost control of the car, really didn't know how to correct it, and put it into the only telephone pole and fire hydrant in the whole 2-block radius.
No.
Totaled the car, and ironically, they're debating to maybe fix that thing at the moment. So I'm hoping they do and I get it back and I can just sue for the depreciation.
Well, I've got to say at this point, fair play, because I watched your video when you clearly had the disappointment and finding out about that.
I was very upset.
Kept your cool about it incredibly well, because when you've seen like one of your babies getting mashed up, it's not good.
I was really happy nobody was hurt.
Yes.
That is the bigger picture of all of anything to do with materialistic stuff.
That's the awkward moment where even an accent pulls away from you while you're being delicate with your clutch.
Yes. Yes, I am being delicate at the moment. I'm also just letting everything kind of warm up, the transmission fluids and oil, so that we can have a bit of DD fun. And I'm also changing my mirrors because they are not in the right position.
Well, they've been off to be wrapped, right?
Yes. Sorry, lady. Sorry, lady on the phone.
Shifts are beautiful. The snaps as you whip it between the gears.
It's such a responsive engine, and the whole platform of the Carrera GT is truly like nothing else. You've driven these cars several times. There's nothing that compares to this car.
No, my two favorite cars, and I often talk about this on my channel, are basically the Ferrari F50 and this. And they're two cars that are very similar in many ways.
Yeah. Proper
manual gearboxes, engines developed for motorsport that rev incredibly fast, and removable roof panels.
I love the F50.
And it's the same kind of ethos. They were separated by 10 years, but...
You don't have one.
No, I wish.
I don't have one. You want to go get a Powerball ticket? Actually, neither of us are U.S. residents. We couldn't actually win it. Bummer. We'll have to work for it.
Have to save up the $4 million or whatever they are.
I've heard that they're up as high as 5. Oh, I didn't tell you. I turned traction control off.
I must have missed that.
I must have missed that.
What a beautiful, beautiful little bit of slide.
It is. It's pretty controlled, this car. I gotta admit, it's a good car.
Any other Porsches at the moment?
Not a single one.
Your one Porsche is your Carrera GT?
My first Porsche.
Your first ever Porsche?
Dave had the GT3 RS before.
Yeah.
The, what orange do they call that? The lava orange?
Lava orange, yeah.
And beautiful car. I mean, honestly, we really enjoyed it. For whatever reason, our audience didn't care much for it. We make videos with it. The views were really subpar. And if the car can't carry its weight based on, for me, business, payment, insurance, the expense of it versus how many videos I gotta make a month and will it cover the expense of the car, we were kind of like, eh.
Yeah,
so we got rid of it.
Well, the GT3 RS is a track car, right?
Yes.
It's just for track, whereas this is, while arguably it's got a motorsport engine, and again, it was developed to be a track car, it's also a freaking lovely thing to drive on the road.
If you had to give, I know everyone just loves this car, and I do too, but if you like to look at the history of this car, I had a very thoughtful DDE fan who sent me the book of the Carrera GT and its history. Like this beautiful hard-covered book that shows from concept car to the production car.
Nice.
And I learned a lot about this car, and one of the neat things was the engine that went in this car actually went into it because it was a failed motorsport engine. It never happened. It wasn't, you know, it doesn't actually have some, you know, motorsports championship.
Yeah, it doesn't have the pedigree.
It doesn't have the pedigree.
In another world, it could have had the pedigree.
Yes, it could have.
Ridiculous. It's absolutely awesome.
Well, it wouldn't be DD, would it, if we didn't take this thing out and officially.
Who needs tires anyway?
Welcome to the Daily Driven Exotics headquarters.
We've got the SVJ. I last saw that in Miami. We've got Dave. Thank you, Dave.
Hey, someone did some donuts in the cul-de-sac.
This is cool. We're at DDE HQ.
Remodeled.
Let's get out and have a look around.
We have 3 generations of Lamborghini V12s here to show you.
Yeah.
And
Diablo Mercy Aventador.
One more time. Come on.
You just got a massive smile on your face. I love it.
Dave, order the tires.
That's subtle. Very subtle. So subtle it's blowing out my microphone. Goodness me. Still sticking up. In rolls the CGT and the SVJ. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Guys, question.
Welcome to the shop.
Why do you have a Rhino?
Well, I didn't get a microphone, so I'm going to talk to Damon's chest for a second. That is the actual on-screen used Rhino from Ace Ventura 2 Pet Detective. So the scene where Jim Carrey crawls out the back of the Rhino, there's a baby Rhino in the foreground. That's the actual one that we actually stole from a company that makes the props. So if they're looking for it, might be a crime under 5,000 or for 5,000, misdemeanor or a bad one. We're not sure yet, but it's right there.
All right then, we'll pretend we don't know.
You want to come see it? We recently renovated the shop. We did floors, paint, Rhino. They said, what color do you want your floors? I said, Rhino gray. Okay.
Oh, we broke its ear off.
Who broke its ear off? Okay, we can't show that anymore. Pete is gonna come.
Oh no.
So we just renovated this.
You've just done floor, Lighting. Lighting's cool.
Paint. All the dark gray on the walls used to be bright red.
Yes.
The floors used to be unepoxied, raw, but covered in, what are they called?
It was Swiss tracks. There was 9,000 Swiss track tiles. They're all upstairs stacked right now.
We had to pull them all out. We broke a few in the process. It was fun. And then we had them epoxied. And this is a massive makeover to this space. And tomorrow, BenPack is coming to grace us with new lifts. And we have some surprises with that. Because instead of just the normal lifts, we have a couple of fancy ones coming.
Nice.
So,
I have some BenPack lifts in my garage.
They're beautiful.
They're good
I
stuff.
have them in my home too.
Perfect. Oh yeah, of course. How do I
want a quick run through?
Yeah, let's have a quick run through.
So there's a few other cars here.
SVJ.
A few cars aren't here.
The SVJ, the Diablo, and the Mercy. That's pretty sick.
3 generations of Lamborghini V12s, starting with what's even cooler is I got an SV Diablo.
Yeah, not just any. So you've got LP640, Diablo SV, Aventador SVJ.
Yes.
It gets like extra horsepower because it's got this.
I heard this is a solid 100 horsepower.
Yeah, definitely.
So 780 to 880.
That's how it works.
So this just came back from Gumball, which is why it looks like it's ratcheted, stickered up, which I love. This is a 1998 Diablo SV. I was very fortunate to find this one for DDE because there are a lot of cars that are more collector-esque with the mileage. This has 40,000 miles on it.
Which means you can drive it without worrying.
So you can drive it and not worry. In fact, it drives beautifully. I do this. If you don't know, it's only the VT models that are all-wheel drive for Diablos.
Yep.
So this is a rear-wheel drive car with a left pedal. So you can, and it has just enough power to spin the tires because they're still quite wide. But this will do a burnout in first gear, tall first gear.
When you're sitting kind of wonky, your pedals are off center, your steering wheel's not in the middle.
It's actually not that bad in this car. It's not like a Countach. Come sit in it, come sit in it, come sit in it.
It's not that bad?
It's really, I mean, compared to a Countach,
okay.
I cannot drive a Countach.
My first memory of driving a Diablo, I think it was a 30th anniversary, was my first one I drove, and I just remember
spoiled. That's a
little
beautiful
bit
car.
spoiled.
That's
Yeah.
a beautiful car. Get in here.
Right, take it.
I honestly don't find it that off-centered, but maybe I'm a bit off-centered myself.
Only a little bit. I guess if you're used to the kind of Lambo thing, the middle of the steering wheel should be about here. And
Well, they don't center the engine either, do they?
No, they don't.
If you look at the cross brace, it's always out of whack.
Oh, it's dogleg. Of course.
Give me this camera. Let me do some work for you. Look at you in
You're the
here.
filmer for the moment.
What do you think?
Don't trip on your own lift.
I know, I almost died there.
Let's go hoon.
Right?
Yeah,
And it's
cool.
so unique, the SV, because this is the only car, and I'm sure you know this, but I'm just reiterating, that you can get the GTR style wheels, or the GT style street wheel, because they're the same wheel. So the SV comes with this wheel, but this is the only car, SV and the GT.
I didn't know that.
And I love these wheels. These are one of my favorite retro wheels ever made.
So what's the deal with this? Is this a US thing?
It is, it's the airbag.
This weird looking like
I have
dashboard
names for it,
contraption.
but you probably don't want to hear them on your channel.
We'll leave it at that.
Yes.
The windscreen goes so far down on the dash as well.
It does. It's quite unique because you'll see this as you close the door. As they do, even in the Mercy, they kept it true. If you look on the right angle, you can see it actually almost curves in right here. But it's a pretty large piece of glass.
Yeah.
So
get back on the camera.
get on the camera. Do your thing.
So what happens as we go through?
Well, this is front of the house. The 2-post, more of a maintenance hoist. The 4-post lifts are for obviously storage. This is cleaned up and more to be like a studio now.
Yep.
So we'll bring cars in, do bolt-on stuff here.
Yep.
To do the proper building, we kind of went into the back room so that building a real race car makes a mess. If you haven't seen our 1999 Bad Boys Ferrari 550 Maranello, tearing that car down, using dry ice to smash all the sound deadening out of it, made an awful mess. And you don't want that where you want to film and have nice things.
Yep.
So we make the mess back here, and this is where all the race cars get built.
Cool.
So yeah, we have a slew of Dodge Vipers because of Dean's race program. And then we have, this is actually a car Dean rebuilt off of Copart.
Okay.
Very unique, actually, for the sense that, can you find the thing on this car that makes this car quite unique? Because during its generation of being built, there was an option on this car that most people didn't get.
The front part isn't normally silver.
Yeah, it's not that. It's a very expensive option.
It's
Keep
also,
looking around the car.
but it's also got a Scuderia bumper.
Yeah, it's not that. That's after. That's not even the right color at the moment, as you can tell. Have a good look at this car. This car has something on it, and it's obvious from the side. Stand over here. Look what it's got. Very expensive option in that year.
What am I looking for?
Ceramic brakes.
Were they not standard?
No. At F430, back when it first came out, ceramic brakes on this car were $40,000.
What?
Yes. Most F430s have steel brakes.
I didn't, honestly, because all of the modern cars, every Ferrari in the entire lineup has ceramics.
The only car that came with ceramic standard for the 430 model was a Scuderia.
Interesting.
So you had to pay $40,000 for those back then. That was buying a 42-inch plasma TV for $20,000 back in the day at one time. And now you can buy an 80. Which is also mad. Yes, and now you can buy an 80-inch for $1,500 at Costco.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So that's a very unique option on this car, and you won't always find F430s with that option.
I also just quickly think it's probably the same color as my Lusso, blue potsy, I think.
It's a rare color.
Yeah.
And nice. This was a completely perfect 550 Maranello. Don't hate me, we have a plan. And it even has a Lambo cover on it.
It was in perfect condition.
It was.
Now it's completely stripped.
We completely 3D scanned this car. So that is 3D scanning every panel on the outside, taking the car apart, scanning the negative, scanning the frame, and going into CAD and having a designer actually make, and we've already shown this on our channel, so I can show you guys really quick, making a wide body kit for this car from scratch. And this is the first time, this is the first car on Daily Driven Exotics we've actually done what would be, to the hardcore motor build, like enthusiast or motorsports builder, a true build. Because putting on bolt-ons on your car is not building a car. I've learned that over the years through the comments. I have a few people who've told me.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So
I see enough of that.
Really quick, I will pull up some renders of what the designer has come up with my input and his input, and some photos I've had of other cars. So this is it.
Nuts.
Quite aggressive long front splitter, some dive planes or canards, however you want to call them, a re-engineered front end that's wider, a fully louvered hood with this amazing, more enhanced ram air intake, or whatever you want to call it, and then louvered side fenders. And I'll show you from a different angle where these are very F40-esque, and some TDF accents in the rear quarter panels. Side profile, not as impressive as I love this side. This shows you how wide it is, and shows you that kind of more sharpened F40 style wide body.
550 meets its GT1 race car version, meets F40 and TDF/GTO.
Yes.
It's like Ferrari nods all in one.
So let's ask your audience, do I go with the standard red? Do I go with the classic Ferrari racing yellow? Or do I go Azzurro Dino blue?
Red, yellow, or blue. Rosso Corsa, Giallo Fly, or Azzurro Dino.
Of course you know all the names. God, you always gotta show me.
Hey, I didn't know the Diablo SV wheels.
Yeah, the only way you can get those wheels is on the very rare and $1 million plus expensive GT.
There we go.
The GTR race car actually has different wheels. It's only those two models because they're a street wheel.
And I didn't know the ceramics either.
Really?
Filling with all the information.
How am I teaching you anything? I'm impressed.
I appreciate it.
And this is obviously a gated car, but the gate's out because we're building it, but 3 pedals. So I'm excited to do this project. We're thinking 90 more days and we'll have it done.
You don't normally see a car like this.
No, like we've bashed out with hammers using dry ice, and I didn't know that trick either. Dean actually showed us that. You use dry ice to freeze and extremely harden and make the very gooey, sticky sound deadening that they put in from the factory. You make it brittle and you hit it with a hammer and it breaks apart like frozen caramel or something.
Interesting.
Interesting analogy, but that's all I got. So we'll build cars back here. We have a bit of a clubhouse on the inside, and the only other thing I'll really show you is really quickly, we have a full stainless kitchen. So we like to dub this being that I am from the generation of late teens, early 20s that got the very first Fast and the Furious franchise video put on us, which I'm obsessed with. I went as far as naming my oldest, who's now 20-year-old daughter at the time. I was just having my first daughter when this movie came out. I named her after Mia, Paul Walker's sister in the movie. So we feel like this is very Fast and the Furious-esque that our, how do you say it? Garage? You say it differently than me. I say garage.
We'll go with garage. Okay. We're in America.
Has a stainless kitchen with like a dining room. So this is our Fast and the Furious meets Daily Driven Exotics clubhouse. So we like cook dinner in here with our friends and have people over and chill and get to stare at the cars while eating dinner. It's like, it's a dream come true.
Yeah, perfect. I can relate to that, believe me. I am, again, jealous of this setup because it's what I'm trying to do with my place, but man, it's difficult right now. Construction, materials,
you have to have the previous owners do it illegally and then you say, was it me?
Yeah.
Got the place like this.
It was like it, done. No stress.
So in the end, you happy with this? You like it?
Absolutely. This is incredible. You know, obviously first time seeing it. It was fun chasing you guys down in the SVJ on the gumball, and it's been fun driving with you today and burning up some rubber.
Let's do some more.
We surely will.
Another video, another time.
Who knows
Smash
what?
the subscribe button, join Shmi's channel.
Well, you know what? On that, I think we're going to say farewell for today. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
For the run out in the CGT, for coming along to DDE HQ.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more to this over on Daily Driven Exotics if you guys aren't already subscribed. That is it for this time though. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for the run out. I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.